Hello, everyone. This is Vance. That's right. Kopi with Vance. It's every Wednesday, 9 p.m. And I'm here. I'm sure you are here with your hot and warm cup of coffee. That's right. And today, a very interesting topic again. Like this is what I've been saying every week, right? Today is about finding relief. Effective strategy for managing pain. And we have a doc coming up very, very soon in our podcast. You can actually watch it live in Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube as well. If you just want to hear it without any videos, you can also log in into Spotify and Apple Podcasts at Kopi with Events. So once again, welcome to our podcast on chiropractic care. That's right, where we explore the fascinating world of spinal health and wellness. Whether you are a skeptic or a believer, you can't deny that the impact the chiropractic care has had on millions of people's life around the world, right? They are not just cracking your back. And if you have that, today, Dr. Gary Do is with us to explain to us what exactly is happening. And I'm excited to dive deep into this topic with some of the best solutions that probably Dr. Gary To can show us, right? A lot of us just live with pain. And also he's going to share a lot of information that may change the way you think about your body. So without any further ado, I'm going to invite Dr. Gary To up in a while. So let's invite Dr. Gary. Hello, Dr. Gary.
Hey, buddy. How you doing, mate? How you doing, Vance? Good day?
Good day, Doc. How about yourself? Is it a very long day for you today?
Yeah, it is. It is, definitely. We have a late night shift. So finished up at around 7:30 this evening in the clinic. So had a little bit, got home, played with the kids for a bit, and then, right here for you.
And thank you, Doc. I mean, despite with your heavy schedule, I know what exactly has happened past 20 minutes. You would just jump in your seat, you were drinking water, and a couple of stuff that happened behind the stage. So really appreciate for giving us your 1 hour of your valuable time on this topic of relief, finding relief effective strategy for managing pain. Thank you, Doctor. Doc, before we even start up, thank you, Doc. Thank you. Before starting up, maybe can you just do a bit of introduction about yourself first so that our viewers will know?
Sure. So, Dr. Gary Tho, I'm a chiropractor. I've been in private practice now for about 16 years. And over that time, I've seen thousands of people with all sorts of ailments. I've published a book, I think that was in 2015. Wow, that was a while ago now. So I published a book, The Pain-Free Desk Warrior, and that's really for people who are stuck at their desk all day, stuck in front of their screens. And if they want to, do something about their posture, or they want to do something about their pains, that's kind of the go-to book for everything, work-wise, I guess. And then, in 2017, I think it was, 2018. Wow, the data are gone in my head right now, but that was when I launched my pillow. So if you have trouble sleeping and you're having trouble finding a pillow, there's heaps of great pillows out there, but I also realized that a lot of my clients were asking me, hey, what's the best pillow? And because of that, I'm like, you know what? People want a good pillow. Okay, let's see if we can create a good pillow. So we went down that route, and I partnered with a local company here in Singapore to create a pillow there. And so then after that, so for me, a lot of that is, sort of what I've done, and also some work in Cambodia. So, until COVID, sort of like an annual, sometimes a couple of times a year, heading over there. And again, just helping people out over there because the access to healthcare is a little bit limited, and especially where I am, which is about 2 hours out of Phnom Penh, where there's a hospital, and that's where I work from.
Okay.
And it was really amazing because when people found out that I was there was one guy who saw me on the first day that I was there. And then the next morning, he drove around for 2 hours picking people up from their house. And because this is rural, so this is like farms and all the rest of it. So he drove around and picked up like a busload, a van load of people, and to bring them to the hospital, because if he didn't pick them up, they wouldn't be able to get there, right? Because of the distance and whatever as well. So, there's been some pretty cool experiences, and seen a bit, I would say. Sure, there's tons more.
Thank you that for valuable information, Doc, because I know, like what you said, right? One can be a multi-billionaire or millionaire, but without a proper good sleep, especially pillows, right? They are our best friends at night. So yes, you said it right. And now we would love to know what kind of pillow is there, where can we get, and what it can does for us. I mean, you're going to talk about that later on, right? Um,
On it, but we'll see. We'll see whether we
all
get
right.
to.
Okay. So, Doc, and I know you have done your introduction, but of course we have some questions probably from the viewers. So, viewers, if you want to engage Dr. Gary Toe, the chiropractor, on certain questions, I know most of the familiar questions will be coming in. Can I crack? What the sound all about? So, Dr. Gary Toe will be here with us for the next 40 minutes, and then last
Yeah,
15
just
minutes we'll
ask
have the
away. Yeah.
there you go. Q&A. But Doc, there must be something to that you have been attracted to. But why did you become interested in the chiropractic care, and what motivated you to pursue it as a profession?
Yeah. I, where do I start? I guess maybe I will start with this very boring phrase that I hate people saying, but I do say it as well. So it's a bit, which is I wanted to help people. And usually when I hear that, I kind of cringe a little bit. And if you've watched some of my videos on social media, you can go and watch that video where I actually talk about this I want to help people thing. But that kind of started when I was younger, and I just didn't know in what way. And I'm almost still kind of finding it. Like I'm there, but I'm still finding it. And anyway, I'm from Australia, but I still have Asian parents, right? Look at me, right? So Asian parents are usually what, doctors and lawyers, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, I've also got siblings who are super duper smart. And of course, my older sister who set the bar like way up there. Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, she became a doctor, right? Like,
All right.
So then when I had to go through and decide what I want to study at university, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And mum and dad's like, yeah, go do medicine. I mean, your sister did medicine. Look, she's doing well. And I'm like, a little bit of backtrack then is I did a lot of work experience. I actually showed up in people's clinics. So I wanted to go into health, and I didn't really know about chiropractic. And again, you can watch some of my videos, but my dad actually was in a car accident, a motorbike accident, and he hurt his back terribly. And he went from being like one of the best karate people in KL, which is where my parents are from Malaysia. He went from being the top at 18 years old to kind of wheelchair bound and the rest of it.
Right.
And he spent his life savings twice trying to fix his back. And it was only when they moved to Australia, and then his boss at the time said, oh, you should go and see my chiro. And he's like, what? He's in and out of hospital every other week doing traction and doing the physio and all that. It wasn't helping. So his boss is like, go see this guy. So he went and he actually got better. I'm like, damn, okay, maybe there's something to this, yeah? And so I did my work experience. I saw physios. I went to hospitals. I went to radiation clinic, like as in the medical radiation centers. I went to hedge funds and things like that to see what corporate life was like. And at the end of the day, I think what resonated with me was the people and the belief systems and everything that chiropractors had. And it was kind of from there that I thought, well, maybe I could go into that. And so the bottom line was I put on my university, priorities, right? We have to rank, right? I want to get into this course first, this course second, this course third. So I went in and I put chiropractic as first. And then to please mum, I put medicine at Monash at second and medicine at Melbourne Uni at third. And then I had no clue what to write after that. So I'm like, maybe I'll write physio at 4, and then and didn't really know what else to write after that.
Okay, so where was chiro?
So chiro was at number 1. That was that was the first. Yeah. And so, of course, what happens in Australia, I think it's different in Singapore. What happens in Australia is, at least in Victoria, is that you wait for a certain day and they actually publish, the universities send who they've accepted into their course to the newspaper, and everybody just hangs out, buys this newspaper and then reads what they got. And most people will get their first offer, but if that was sort of all the slots were taken out, they'd get their second offer or third or whatever, right? And so I got chiropractic as my first offer. So I must have nailed the interview or something. And then I then thought, okay, this is great. And then my mum's like, hey, you should check whether you got into medicine. She wasn't giving up.
Right. She's not giving up. Okay.
So I called Monash University. Monash University is really cool because they had an interview process as well. So I actually got to talk to some of the professors and that sort of thing there. So I called them and I said, hey, look, I'm Gary. I applied for medicine at Monash University. I was just wondering if I actually, got given a place. And then they looked and they said, yeah, we gave you a place, but we were only second, so we didn't offer it to you. And then I'm like, oh, cool. I said to Mum, yeah, I got a place, cool. And then they're like, yeah, but if you're interested, if you really want to take this, let us know in 3 days, because we have 3 days to accept our offer, right?
Okay.
So I need to let them know in 3 days if I want to take their offer. And I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. And then Mum's like, okay, take medicine. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So if I do medicine, so I play badminton. I was playing badminton for Australia at the time as well.
Right.
And if I did medicine, I'd be at Monash University, and Monash University have a awesome badminton structure, right? Like they've got heaps of international students, and their badminton the structure is phenomenal, and the quality is like good, even just for a university. So I'm like, if I really wanted to do that and be really good at badminton, that would be a really cool place, because I just play every day and go to training. But there's a lot of people I can spar with here. If I go and do chiropractic, it's zero, right? There's the badminton there is not to such a high standard. Plus, I was in a campus that was way away from the city, so I'm like, okay, that doesn't. But then I'm like, yeah, but I don't really want to do medicine, and I believe in the fact that the body can heal itself.
Right. Okay.
And for medicine, a lot of it, well, medicine is medicine, right? So it's medicine. It's something that we take and we pop it and right? Or if not, it's an injection or surgery, which again can be very life-saving and brilliant. But at the same time, given where I am right now, 16 years into the profession, I also see that there could be an alternative to surgery for some people. Not everyone, but
let me just ask you this, Dr. Gary. In terms of chiro, right? How many years they have to do in order to become?
So for us, it was 5 years.
Okay.
So it's 5 years, and for us, if you look at generally the chiropractic degree, so it's a degree and a master's. It's a 3-degree, 2-year master's. So to finish that, we do probably more anatomy and physiology than what people do in medicine, right? We really learn about the body and how it works. Yeah. We also study pathology, which is like all the diseases and stuff like that. But we study every other ology. That means like your microbiology and your embryology and your biochemistry and your, just things that I am like, why do we need this? But it's in the curriculum, so we have to pass it. If not, we're not going to graduate, right? And so we do all of those medical sciences anyway. And the cool thing, like if you compare to Melbourne and Monash University Medicine, is we actually get to cut up cadavers in our anatomy prac classes. Right. Whereas at Melbourne and Monash, they just look at specimens that are already cut. And so
you really literally go and dive inside.
So we are very lucky because obviously getting a cadaver, which means a preserved body, somebody has donated their body literally to science or to students like us. Yeah. And we get a pristine, when I say pristine body, we get a human being lying on a steel table with a drape over it. And we walked in and then they go, okay, meet your, right? And so my client's name was, my not client, my cadaver, my human's name. My friend's name was Henry. What was my guy's name?
So you
remember?
You still remember the name?
I remember Henry only because apparently somebody might have eaten a bit of Henry by accident, as in cutting up and was talking and something kind of popped into the mouth. But yes. So we get to literally, and I learned so much more from that. So for head and neck anatomy, which is like the brain and how that works, we didn't cut up the brain. That wasn't what we did. The rest of the body, we didn't do organs as well. Okay.
Right.
We didn't cut the organs, I mean, but when we did the head and neck and we're just looking at slices and we're looking at, already cut, that was really good too. But I just found actually getting in and finding it and tracing nerves and looking at that, I'm like, oh, I learned so much more doing that. Right. So it was really such a good experience.
So it looks like you have really dived into the body and dissected
literally
pieces and looking at the muscle fibers and the actin and the myosin.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Thanks, doctor, for that information. I mean, to see that, you also have done, the many years of experiences, especially past 16 years in the chiropractor. That's where we are actually leading to right now, because we
Mm.
know there are a lot of questions are going to come up. But the one of the main thing that we want to look at is the common issues that you see in most of the patients who actually seek chiropractic care. And how do you address them, and how do you know that this is the issue? Because just to quote one thing, right? For sciatica, when someone has a sciatica, they bloat up, right? They have this gastric, they go into diarrhea, so and so forth. So the nerves are being connected to
Not
all these.
always, yeah.
Yeah. So how do
Not
you
always, but
actually?
yes.
Oh, okay. But how do you look at that, doc? I mean, what are the ways? How do you diagnose it?
All right, so let's talk about the sciatica first, seeing as you brought that up, and then we'll talk about the common issues, which is kind of the question earlier, maybe. But the sciatica, I mean, the most obvious thing for sciatica, I mean, I'm sure most people who have sciatica or who think they have sciatica is because they probably Googled it, yeah, or watched a video on some social media platform or something like that, yeah. And most people will know that sciatica is kind of radiating leg pain. So whether they have actually back pain or not, sometimes people do, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's in the hip. Yeah. So the hip, like if I just kind of come back from it for a second, right?
Right.
I'll just move my camera a little, right? But the lower back being right here on the lower back, but sometimes they're getting pain just sort of on the side of their hip, sort of in the glute, the buttock muscle area, right? Or just next to the tailbone, which is not really the lower back, but sort of just on the tailbone. And they'll kind of go, oh, but is it really sciatica? Is it really a slip disc or a nerve issue? Because I actually feel the pain like it's not down my leg. It's only just at the tailbone, and it's not in my lower back. But again, if it's in the tailbone, it could still be sciatica. It could still be a disc or a nerve or an impingement or something.
Right.
But then, of course, classically, it's running down the leg. And with sometimes with pins and needles or numbness or that sort of sensory change as well. Okay. So if you are experiencing any of this stuff that I'm saying right now, there is a good chance you've got a pinched nerve or you've got some sort of disc or sciatica problem. Okay. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it's something that you do want to get on top of fast, because you don't want this to be a chronic or a long-term thing. It becomes very debilitating, but it doesn't have to be. You see, but that's the same for everything in life, right? I mean, if you get diagnosed with diabetes, for example, right? It's if you manage your diet and you do a bit of exercise, you can live a very happy and fulfilling life and do everything you want without any complications. But if you have diabetes and you didn't take care of yourself, you're going to lead to heart failure, kidney failure. I mean, like lots of bad stuff, ulcerations on your leg that could get an amputation if it gets that bad, So, everything in life, try and catch it early and actually do something about it so that we can actually enjoy life.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor, for that, for talking on the sciatic nerve. And of course,
Yeah.
viewers are watching this, right? Like what Dr. Gary said, the pain usually is pins and needles, right, doc? In always radiating from the lower
right.
back.
And it can travel down the leg. So I've had some of my clients who've just told me, like on the side of their calf, like it's not even their calf muscle, it's the side of their leg. And just that patch of maybe like 20 centimeters or so on the side of their leg, that's kind of a bit painful. And they're like, I thought it was a cramp, but then it didn't go away. And then I thought it was like I strained my muscle, but I didn't really exercise or push it. They do calf raises. What is it? And I'm like, oh, it's your back. And they're like, but I have no back pain. And I'm like, no, it really is your back. And so then, yes, it's, we did some tests in the clinic and we assessed and we go, okay, where is she?
Oh, so that's a junior? Okay.
So that's the little one. Yeah,
Hello?
you can say hi.
Hi. So you're the assistant in the clinic, right?
The assistant. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but as I was saying, right, he just had just the lateral thigh pain, the side of the calf, and that was all he had. And I'm like, you know what, let's do some assessments and see what's going on. And then from there, we will, decide. And of course, I said, let's do an MRI. And the MRI has just shown, yes, there really is a slip disc. It really is hitting the nerve, and it really is causing that pain. Right. So again, clinical assessments to me are vital. And it's going to be slightly different to like if you went to see an orthopedic surgeon, because sometimes the orthopedic doctors, they will hear this leg pain and they will just go exactly like me. Yep, I think it's this. do the MRI, and they kind of don't even do the clinical stuff because, well, we're clinicians. Like, I'm a clinician. We do this on a day-to-day. So the clinic is like where we get all of the data. Whereas if you go to the hospital, where they get all their data is tests. So it's very rare that you're going to go to hospital and not get a test done, right? Like a blood test or urine or an X-ray or a scan or whatever, right? Because that's how they diagnose. But for me as a clinician, we use the clinic first and then use all of the rest as extra information.
Okay.
Yeah.
And common issues, doctor? Very common issues.
Common issues. Everybody knows neck,
lower back,
right? They're the absolute top two, especially in Singapore. Yeah, top two. Neck is like by far. Usually, people say lower back pain is like in the World Health Organization. Lower back pain, 80% of the population, that sort of thing. In Singapore, when I was doing my book, I surveyed almost like 5,000 people in my talks and workshops and whoever I could ask, and 70% of people had neck pain, 56 had lower back pain. And if you think about it, 70 plus 56, it's more than 100, right? So what does that mean? Some people got both.
Wow.
Yeah, right. I mean, heaps of people got both, actually, not just some people.
I'm just going to cut you off. But comparison, right? Comparison, because nowadays people are sitting too, the duration is getting longer and longer. People are like sitting down for 12 hours. We have elevators, lifts, escalators, trains, buses, drive. So our human body is now becoming lesser in the movement, and we are sitting more and becoming inactive. So do you think that the neck and the lower back will be one of the most, if you're going to compare, right, the upper region and the lower region, which one has the most highest risk? Tough,
very tough. I mean, there's okay, excuse me.
Yeah, always.
It's tough because everybody's going to respond differently. Like, generally, spines get stiff. Like the spine is from the head, right, from the base of the skull all the way down to our tailbone, yeah, and that's going to get stiff. And what happens in the neck can affect the lower back, which means, I've had people that are like, "Oh, I'm doing everything for the neck, it's not getting better." I'm like, wait, let me check your back. We correct their back, and their neck's like, "Oh, that's so free." Why? Because we've got paraspinal muscles. I mean, if you look at somebody's spine, like when the massage therapist, if you go for a massage, they're going to run sort of from the bottom of your spine all the way up to your shoulder blade area, right? And then if they wanted to, all the way up to your neck. It's like a long muscle that runs the whole way through. So it's going to be affected. Now, if we don't move so much, some people will feel it more in the lower back. Yes. Some people feel it more in the neck as well. It also, so I'm still going to say 50-50 or both at the same time, because most people feel stiff and they're stiff all over, right? Like they're like, yeah, this part, my shoulders, yeah, it's really tight. Or they'll say, oh yeah, my back is really stiff as well, right? And so it's kind of everything just smashed together.
But I'm gonna ask you I shouldn't be asking you easy questions. I'm gonna ask you a tough question, and that will be probably an easy one for you. For most people, right, after working 8 hours or 10 hours, probably they feel that, they need to go for a massage. And most of the time they do. Right? And then they go for the massage, and during that 1 hour, they feel better. Oh, I'm better. But then the pain comes back again. And it's like a consistent routine, right? And then when one will show that, hey, you know what, this pain is not going off, now it's time to because some people just keep on going for massage or temporary relief, but it's not addressing the issue. So, how one will make the decision, or what?
Okay. So yeah, good question. I love it. Essentially, when you go for a massage, if you've just got a muscle injury, an overstrain, or something's a little bit stiff, right? Then when you go for a massage, that will help you a lot, yeah? But most people have something more than just that, okay? That means if you look at the body, there's 3 layers, yeah? There's 3 layers in the body. On the top, we've got our muscles, yeah? They're reactive, which means, like, if I just get you right now, Vance, to hold your hand out in front of you, right? and then just rotate your arm. So turn your hand, rotate all the way down. Can you feel as you rotate? Just go one direction, that's it. Stay there. Can you feel that your whole arm is already tensed up? Can you feel that? Your whole shoulder is already tensed up. Yep. Yeah. Don't push too hard. Okay. But can you feel that? That's changing your shoulder alignment. And when we change your shoulder alignment, all the muscles tense up. That's a reaction. Most people's body tense up because of something. It's a reaction. Muscles are almost always, unless you strain that specific muscle, they're almost always just a response, a reaction, a muscle spasm. But that's it. There's nothing else more than that. Okay. But if you peel away the muscles, you've got what I call the mechanics. The mechanics is underneath the muscles, and that's your bones and joints and how your body actually works. And the mechanics might be faulty. Things don't work so well. So if you turn your head to the side, for example, and then turn your head to the other side, I mean, I invite everybody watching to do this. You might feel that one side turns easier than the other. One side feels a bit more free, something feels a bit restricted. You might even feel a muscle pull, right? And if you do feel that, yes, it could be a tight muscle. There's a good chance that how the spine moves underneath, it's not rotating so well. It's not working so well. And if it's not working so well, then it means that, yeah, your muscles have to work harder, but it's going to work harder. And it's going to work harder, but there's no ability for your body to do what is required, right? That means you're trying to turn your head. The joints are not moving so well. Oh, no.
Sorry. What I'm mentioning is that, is it a range of motion? Is get better? Sorry, Doc. So what we are talking about range of motion? No, it's not range of motion.
So if you look at range of motion, okay, and you turn your head to one side, and then you turn the other side. I'm going to watch you doing this. All right, turn to your right one more time. Can you feel that you don't turn to the right so far?
Yeah, you go. Bingo. Bingo.
All right.
So my right is tighter.
So your right is tighter. And yes, it could be the muscles. If you massage it, you'll feel great for an hour or a day or two. And then in 3 days' time, go and check it in. You go, well, how come I can't turn my head to the right again? Because it's not about the muscles. It means the mechanics underlying is not working properly, and your muscles are actually working harder and they're not creating the outcome you're looking for.
Right.
Okay. So then you've got to start addressing it. And this is one of the reasons why when you go for a massage, you're not going to get the outcomes that you're looking for, because everything keeps coming back, because you haven't looked, people talk about underlying cause. People haven't looked for the underlying cause. They're looking superficial still. They're only on the muscles. Yeah. But to me, there's 3 layers. The muscles are at the top. Below that is your mechanics, and below that's what I call your systems, right? Because if you look at the human body, you peel away the muscles, you see the skeleton, right? You peel away the skeleton, what's left? What's left is your organs. It's your systems, your nervous system, your cardiovascular system, your respiratory system, your digestive system, right? You got all these systems in there. And if those systems don't work, and especially the brain, because that's where all our muscle memory and that's where all our habits are stored, right? The automatic pilot stuff. So if we don't address that, everything's going to come back. So I have a saying called input dictates output, which is if you don't change the input, you're not going to change the output, right? If the mechanics isn't working well, if your posture of whatever you're doing keeps reminding your body of the same thing you've done all the time, then don't expect it to change. Yeah. So we need to start to rewire the body. And that's essentially what I do, right? We need to address these 3 layers, and we need to start going, okay, what do we need to release in terms of the muscles maybe? Or if there's a nerve compression, of course, we need to release that, right? If it's a sciatica or whatever. But if it's not just that, well, besides release, what do we need to realign? And realign's more like a car mechanic, they will tune things up. Something's a bit too tight or loose, or it's off balance, or it's whatever, right? It doesn't sit properly, or if this part doesn't work with that part. I mean, I think of things very simplistically, right? And I usually try to explain things simplistically. So if you imagine like a cartoon factory, you've got a conveyor belt that goes in, and then like it goes inside the building, and then there's like a joins to another conveyor belt that does something, and it joins the conveyor belt that goes out, right? If those conveyor belts don't just line up and they don't work properly, if it gets stuck somewhere, it's going to backlog and create problems all the way. Yeah. And so that's what our body does. It compensates. And so we're going to shrug our shoulders. And so the people, again, you can try this now. I want to test you, man, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Just hold your hands straight out in front of you, right? Straight out in front. Okay. Yep. Watch that. So once you hold it up, right, keep your hands there. Don't let it drop. Yeah. Keep it up. I want you to see whether your shoulders here can relax.
Okay. All right.
All right. So hands up and then. Oh, you're not bad. Okay, drop it down. I want you to do it one more time. I'm going to look closely. Bring your hands down. Shake it out. Everyone at home, do this as well. Hold your hands straight up. Keep it there and see whether your shoulders can drop down or not. Here. No, it can't. Good. Vance, not bad. You passed the test, man.
Thank you, Doc.
Your traps are not overworking. But if you guys did that at home and you had your arms up, and if you look at my shoulder, hopefully you can see a little bit of it. If you look at my shoulder and I say, keep your hands still, but you can relax your shoulders here, it means that your traps are overactivated. They're working way too hard. There's a good chance you got a stiff neck or a stiff shoulder. It's a good chance you got a neck pain or even headaches. Yeah. Because this is the bad habits or the rewiring, the compensations that's happening. And we need to start rewinding all of this stuff. Yeah. So that's what we do. We want to release, and then we need to realign and get this factory, everything working smoothly. And then the last part is renew, which is, again, retraining, reprogramming the body, right? Inputting new information so that we can get a new output.
Well said, Doc. I mean, these two experiences, experiment actually showed, right? How the, like what you say, the traps overworking and overcompensating. Some muscles are just overworking, and some muscles are like, you know what? I'm chilling in the beach. You can do all the work. You spot that very well. Doc, before going into the next question, and I got a chiropractor a couple of years back. I just want to get myself adjusted, right? Because I was doing lots of heavy sports like jet skis and kind of stuff. So a lot of high impact exercises. But one thing I've noticed, right? I have to give the credit, right? Every time I get adjusted, I sleep like a baby at night. And the kind of relief, right? And that's where the next question is coming in. They put us into I mean, your expertise, right? You put us in a certain position, and then it takes a deep breath, and then crunk. Oh, it's like it's like a heaven in earth. So what is basically happening there, Doc? I mean, that's where the next question is coming in. I really feel, whoa, I feel like a baby. I feel like, I just want to sleep. And I feel so relaxed. I feel the whole tension has went off. There's so many things happening psychologically, emotionally, physically. So what is the nerve's contribution to that?
Okay. A lot of it is, maybe I'll simplify it, right? There's a lot of things going on. I'll just tell you maybe two things. Yeah, there's heaps. Okay, there's two big things. All right. The first thing is our system is usually overactive, hyperactive. Our modern day, our fast pace, our everything on demand. I mean, if we load up a website and it takes 2 seconds, like a full 2 seconds to load, we get angry. Right? We want things now. And your boss, if you work for a boss, probably wants things yesterday. Okay, so because of that, we're so like wired, and we're so go. You get adjusted, and all we're doing is restoring balance. We're bringing some calm into the body, and we're taking things that are like and going, chill out. Now you can relax. Hey, take a deep breath. Oh my God, it's so much easier to breathe. And when your body's in this so much more like just a physical, not even talking about the mental, emotional yet, but just in a physically more relaxed state, it's way easier to fall asleep, right? In some of the sleep talks and workshops that I run, I talk about shifting state, yeah? And this is an example of shifting state. That means you've gone from like things are tense and things are like if it's painful, especially, whether you like it or not, there's going to be muscle spasm, right? You can't control that. If you've got a stomach ache, I mean, I haven't seen people with a stomach ache and they go, oh yeah, I got a stomach ache. This is great. Yeah. They're like, oh, I want to curl up into a little ball, right? And you contract, right? That's just how the body works. When you have pain, we contract, we shrink, we protect, right? And then when you release that, it's like, wow, like circulation goes, like we just zen for a little bit, right? And the body just calms down, right? And because the physical body calms down, here's the next part, right? Again, there's many parts. This is just two. The next part is we live. Have you heard of fight flight, by the way, Vance?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, fight flight. Yeah. So for most people have, but for the people that might not have, it's okay. Fight flight is really a natural response that we have. So if like we're walking like dark streets at night, we hear a noise and we either get ready to fight or we get ready to run, right? Usually, right? And of course, there's going to be some people that are so frightened out of their wit that they
Shock.
I don't know, they
Stressed.
haven't lost me. I'm just praying. They freeze. Yeah. they freeze, and so this is like a natural response. And when we're in pain, we also go into that mode, and that's why people get angry, right? If you talk about like something that didn't go your way, and you're like angry about it, or you're like, no, it's because of, right? That's fight flight kicking in right there. Okay. Right. If you face something and you don't like it, and you're like, oh, I'm going to avoid this conversation. That's a flight already, right? So it shows up everywhere, yeah. And we live either in fight flight mode or in healing mode. There's only two types of modes because that's just how our brain's wired. And again, if we're always stressed, if we've always got things on and go, it's always fight flight mode. You can't rest well. You can't sleep in fight flight. But once you transition from fight flight into the healing state, into the resting, so the opposite of fight flight is rest and digest, right? Feed and breed, right? That state, that's where we can actually heal, right? That's the healing, the repair, and the healing, the recovery phase. Wow. Okay. And I want to try and get all of my clients out of this stress and fight, flight, and pain and and everything tense into a state where their body can actually heal. Because if you don't get out of that fight, flight state, you can't heal. That's why we always fall back into pain, right? Unless we do enough. That's why I say input dictates output. If we do enough, then we can make the change, right? We've got to rewire this nervous system.
Yeah. And I got to say that, Doc, right? I every time I got adjusted, right? So I feel like, wow. And that night is just like a sleeping beauty, they call it the sleeping beast, a beard. You just sleep like, so peacefully because I do agree because, the nerves are more because, when we can talk about this if we have a little bit more time. And I think when you do the adjustment, I think all the nerves are not being impinged. And I think that's what I feel. I feel so relaxed and I feel a great posture. I think neurologically or physically or mentally, I think I feel so good. You feel like, wow, I just want to sleep. I don't want to work today. That kind of stuff. So I think definitely it's benefiting, right?
Yeah, it's definitely benefiting. And yes, if there is pressure on the nerve, we do want to take pressure off the nerve, right? Because that pressure on the nerve is, again, creating a compensation pattern. It's creating the pain. It's creating whatever that your body's doing, whether you're one shoulder higher than the other or whether you can't turn your head, right? All of this. It's creating the headache. So the headache pain, a lot of it's coming from the neck. And honestly, most people intuitively know this. Most people have a headache. They start massaging not just their head, but maybe even at the back of their head because they kind of know that it's like somehow it's just coming, right?
Agree.
So, but also just one thing, and you asked this, and I want to quickly say something about it, is when you do hear that popping sound, right? It doesn't pop all the time, and it doesn't matter as long as we get the shift we need. But yes, people love most of the time hearing it. Some people are a little scared.
Yep.
And but it's not. I dare say, it's not painful. It might come as a shock to some people because of the speed that we need to go to do this. The speed is important. We need to beat the muscle flinch reaction in case they flinch. And the muscle flinch reaction is about 0.23 of a second. So we got to be faster than that. All right. We got to get in and out before the muscle goes, oh, wait. But we're already done by then.
Right.
Okay.
Doc, at this point of junction, sorry, just have to hold on.
Yeah, no worries.
I have a viewer from LinkedIn because we are live in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well, right? So we have a message right now. This particular, hi Radhika, thank you so much. She have asked us, there are certain conditions whereby people can seek help from a chiropractor. People who have permanent joint damage like AVN. So Doc, you want to take that? Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yes, there are certain conditions that people can't seek help from. So that's why I said at the start, we're clinicians first, right? We need to go through and assess, and we need to find out what's happening in the body before we go and do everything, right? So that's a whole part of the clinical assessments. And yes, certain things. So avascular necrosis, so AVN is avascular necrosis. Yes, that's something that we can't help with. Now, but if avascular necrosis is causing permanent joint damage and bone pain and all that kind of stuff, right? Yes, there's unfortunately there's actually nothing I think that can really reverse or help avascular necrosis, that particular condition. Yeah. But yes, there are definitely other conditions that we can't help with as well. I mean, a lot of what we help with is musculoskeletal, so it's to the bones and the joints, the muscles, and the ligaments, the tendons, that physical aspect of it. Yeah. And even for some of my clients who have slipped discs, there are occasionally I'll say, I'll give you a 70% chance I can help, 30% chance I can, 70% chance I can't. And I'm just being very real about it. And I guess the kind of the cool thing for some of these people is they actually go, I'm willing to take it because I want to try everything I can before I kind of go the last resort, maybe surgery. And the people that have taken me up on the offer, they've actually been very happy with the results. So there are definitely some things that we can help with, but there's also things that we can't. Yeah.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you for answering that. And thank you, Radhika, for that question as well, straight from LinkedIn. Thank you. For viewers who are watching this, please do share and like as well, because so that more people can be aware of what Dr. Gary To, our chiropractor, was at Kopi Events, is now sharing us. With us, we're finding relief, effective strategy for managing pain. And I think that is one part that I think everybody should know, because a lot of us are just living with pain and we just do our own remedies sometimes, but after a period of time, these remedies are not working well as well. So please do share and like. If you are sharing, just a second up, I got some interferences. Do you hear that?
No.
Is it noisy?
I'm okay.
I think could be your earpiece, Doc. Can you just take one of the earpiece?
Yeah, one's out already.
Oh, you take one, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Now it's better. Yeah, I think it's interfering with another one. So yeah, this is good. Whatever you're doing right now, it's fine. Right. Thank you. So viewers who are watching this, thank you. You can also watch this and hear this in Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Right. So I'm getting the sound back. So probably is the earpiece.
No, nothing's changed.
Can you put back the earpiece also, Doc? So sorry.
What do you mean? Like, I mean,
yeah. Just hang on, yeah. Let me just adjust the sound. Okay, now it's much more better. We have another viewer also say that, Doc, thank you so much. You have mentioned about releasing tension. Is this something that I should do 2 times a week?
Releasing tension.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it as, I guess, kind of as much as you like. There's no limit, but don't go overboard. I mean, there is such thing as too much for that as well. So 2-3 times a week is great, and there's ways to release tension from stretching to using a foam roller, or if you own a massage gun. I mean, that's a sort of like a lazy man's guide, right? Like it takes less effort maybe to do that. So whatever it is for you that releases tension, if releasing tension is you go for a jog and then you feel like, hey, my shoulders are not so tense, great, go and do that as well. So there's lots of ways to release tension. Just remember, like I said, that sometimes the tension is building up as an effect. So you might be just, chasing pain, so to speak, right? Hey, my shoulders are tense, I release tension. I feel good. Hey, my shoulders are tense, release. And then it becomes that repetitive cycle. So if that's the case, you might want to look below that muscle level. Yeah.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you for answering that. And Radhika, thank you so much for the question. Viewers, we have another about 10 more minutes. In fact, we are already in a great discussion for almost 50 minutes. And we have one more question to take on with Dr. Gary To. And if viewers are sending us your comments, please send it now, because the last 5 minutes we are going to take in the Q&A. Doc, before we finish up with these questions, because most of these injuries, because I'm coming from the fitness industry, span a good number of years, about 18 over years in the gym, and now I'm doing a very holistic approach by doing everything outside the gym. But I got to say, most of these injuries I have seen personally on a shoulder dislocation or the ACL, the PCL, all comes with improper posture, too much or weights, and so forth. In your practices, do you also see the number of sport injury increasing?
Yeah. So yeah, I think if I can sort of joke about this, post circuit breaker, I was closed during that time in Singapore, right, where we had the lockdowns. And
Yeah.
then sort of when I started up, I kind of started the clinic a bit slow, and I felt like it was going to be slow, so I kind of just worked a few days a week and just sort of took it real easy. And then in less than a month, I'm like, I had to open up every slot I possibly could because I feel like everybody who worked out at home injured themselves.
Okay, yeah. I mean, probably. I mean, they did
So
something, but yeah,
so it was great. And then for the whole next year, I get people that, oh, I just started working out, so I never really worked out, but I started working out during circuit breaker, and now it's been like 8, 9 months or 10 months or 12 months, and I've been really good, but now I feel like my shoulder's giving way, I feel like my hips giving way, my knee or my whatever, right, my back, and they will never then attribute it to their working out. But we also need to remember that our body has a capacity. So sometimes if we do something that our body doesn't really like, right? Like you go to the gym, you do your bench presses, right? And then you pump them out, and then you go from 20 kilo to 30 kilo on the bars, right? To 40 kilo, and the next time to 50 kilo. And then, right? Some people will progress sort of once every week or once every 2 weeks, right? That's quite fast. And they think that they're gradually doing it, but that's actually fast. And because of that, this joint structure can't take the load as fast as the muscles can. Muscles might be able to take the load, but the joint structure can't. So that's where the rotator cuff or the whatever injuries are going to come in. And people don't necessarily see that. And so, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the road, they will never blame the sport. But it could just be that their body was putting up with that stress or that strain until one day it decided it had enough. Just like if we work for a new boss and we put up with their stuff for a certain amount of time, but after that, they're like, you know what, I can't do this, I'm going to quit, right? But that's after it decides it's had enough, you see? And sometimes the body's like that too.
So let's get the number before going to the number first, right? The third most popular injury in the gym. I mean, do you want me to take that?
What are your top 3 injuries, maybe?
Oh, okay. You want me to start with the third one first or the first one? The first, second, third, or the third?
Oh,
either way, right? No.
Let's build up suspense, man.
All right. So let's start out with the third. Most of these the third most common injuries in the gym is a muscle pull, if not a muscle strain. Yep. This is the most common, very, very common, right? And of course, they don't do stretch and they go very heavy weights and then they something pull, and some kind of inflammation has happened. That for sure. That's the number third. The number 2, or rather, I have seen personally, is the ACL. So many things happen in ACL, especially on squats. People who want to jump into squats, working on their thighs and quadriceps and hamstring. I think the most important thing is conditioning, right? You need to understand if you're heavier at certain times when try to lose weight. So I think you need to lose your extra weight first before starting to do a little more intense exercises, because that's where the ligaments can't take over the pressure. They just snap it out. So ACL is the number 2. And the number 1, I'm going to break it down into 2 segment, Doc, which is I've seen a lot, which is a shoulder dislocation. And number 2 is elbow dislocation as well, right? So these are the 2 first top priority that I've seen in the gym, and this is it. But what kind of cases that you have seeing more in the recent?
I think probably the top 1 and 2 spots. If I just jump straight to that, the top 1 or 2 spots are kind of a 50-50 of who could be 1 and 2. One is just rotator cuff injuries. So rotator cuff tears, strains, impingements, really high up there on the list. Okay, and then the other one are slip discs. right?
That's from the
Squats,
AB squats.
lunges, deadlifts, right?
Right,
Deadlifts.
Right.
So many people as well. They're kind of the top two, yeah. And then they're the more serious ones, because if you tear your rotator cuff, you're out for a while. If you do a slip disc, you're out for a while, yeah. And then like what you said, maybe, I mean, there's other strains and injuries, but a lot of it's just more like overstrain, right? So there could be a little muscle tears, a little overstrains. They're not so bad, right? You can sometimes recover from them real quick.
Right.
Yeah.
So these are the top injuries in the gym, and I think people who want to get started in exercising, I think it's very important that you need to understand your body. Not just self induce with certain pressure, especially the weight. Oh, that guy is carrying 5. I'm not going to carry 4. I'm going to carry 10. And if you start comparing and have a competition in the gym, and that's where a lot of injuries come in. So please leave all your egos, all your AV strengths outside the gym before you come in. And that's what I preach to all my clients.
Yeah, sorry, can I just jump in for a second? When you said that, right? What I was thinking was, is something that I do tell people all the time. Like, your point A is different to somebody else's point A. All right. So point A to B, A is where we start, B is where we want to get to, right? Your point A is different. So one of the things that I always hear people say, oh, I need to strengthen my core and do planks. But if you go and read about planks, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but planks were first invented for athletes and for people with a certain high level of physical capability and muscle control. They weren't built for the desk jockey who decides that they might want to get fit now. Yeah. And so a lot of the time, if that's the case, you do a plank, and if you're hearing this and you're like, no, I can do planks. Well, hear me out. If you feel you're straining your back way more than your stomach hurting, guess what? Don't do the plank, please, because you're going to screw your back. Yeah. Same thing for sit-ups. If you're feeling your hips burn or your lower back burn more than your core might be burning, no doubt about it. But if your back is aching, guess what? A sit-up is meant to work your abs, not your back. All right. So if I did bicep curls in a terrible way and I said, and I feel my back, and I'm like, no, but this is good because I can feel my bicep burning. Most people will say, hey, probably stop doing that. But we do all of our core exercises and, strain and injure our back and think it's good. Okay, so sorry, I had to just throw that in there.
I got to echo on what you have said as well, because I think in the gym itself, what's happening, all right? Like I mentioned, over the 18 years of career in the gym, apart starting my own in the past 5 years, is that there's some kind of a competition, right? You are carrying, Dr. Gary is carrying 10 kg. I'm going to do 20. So I think it's very important that, it's your own race, it's your own health, it's your own muscles, your ligaments. You don't want to you want to screw them up. But I think it's very important that you start very gradually, right? Like what Dr. Gary has said, that, if you go on a plank position, I think plank, everybody can do it, right? But if your butt is always lifted up so high and you're putting so much of pressure on your elbow, then it's not a very effective plank. I think then the core muscles is very weak in order to perform that exercise. So probably you might want to do something easier, like lying on the floor and lifting up your legs, slowly, gradually lifting up. I think that is the best idea to prevent injuries in the gym. And
there's always alternatives.
Yeah,
there's always alternatives. Yeah. So if you do something,
sorry, Doc, you carry on.
I know. I was just going to say, no. If you're just doing something, and let's say, like I said, if you're meant to be working your bicep, but you feel it somewhere else, modify it. Yeah, because you want to know exactly what you're targeting, and then target that. Right. Yeah. If not, modify.
Doc, we are almost at 55 minutes, and we just have one last question for you. And then after that, viewers can actually revisit our videos and our podcast at Kopi with Vance podcast at Apple Podcast and Spotify as well. So the last one, Doc, it's about treatment. All right. What step do you need to ensure your patient receives safe and effective treatment?
Yeah. I think, again, a lot of it first is there's always risk with everything, yeah? Probably one of the risks that I want to highlight is the biggest one that most people are scared of. Oh, if you adjust my neck, if you crack my neck, am I going to die? Is my head going to fall off? Something like that. No, it's not going to fall off. Your neck muscles are way stronger than that, okay? If I could demonstrate and just do this, that's kind of all we're kind of doing, yeah? but there is a risk, and so people are scared of getting, oh, what if I get like I damaged my blood vessels in my neck, right? That's kind of the scariest one. And so over the years, and this has been asked hundreds and thousands of times. So a survey in 2006 from that was in Canada. So that was the government of Canada, and then a survey, another one in Ontario, which is also Canada, 2004. The United States in 1997. Where is this? South Africa, they did a study in the 80s, and some Australian Commonwealth Committee as well. Like all of these people, Australia, New Zealand, they did that as well. All of these government studies have found that the rate of severe injury to like the neck, this is the one I'm talking about, is actually quite low. That means you're looking at anywhere from 1 in maybe 3 or 4 million to 1 in 7 to 9 million. So if you're talking about even just 1 million, like one in 1 million chance of this happening, if you were to compare that to being in a serious car accident in the UK or the US, because I don't have Singapore statistics, that's probably more like 1 in 20,000. So to die in a car accident in the US or the UK is 1 in 20,000. And even if you said that the chiropractic risk is 1 in a million, we're still kind of really far off that. So in terms of the actual risk, there is, but we minimize. That's why we go through the assessments and we check, and if we need, we will ask for the x-rays or the MRIs or the whatever, right? Because we do need to know what we're up against. Yeah. Right. But we are trying to minimize as much as possible. And again, for the people who are really scared about it, we don't have to adjust or crack your neck. There are other techniques. There are other ways to do that, right? So there's always, again, modifications. There's always an alternative. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Gary So, for spending almost 1 hour and 2 minutes. It seems just like 1 minute, having great conversation.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. And viewers, thank you so much for giving so much of love and sharing as well. And then, very important question, Doc. I mean, if any of our viewers want to find you or to seek consultation, how they find you?
Yeah. drgarytho.com. That's probably the easiest way. drgarytho.com, or just find me on your favorite social media channel. So whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or LinkedIn or Facebook, or Facebook will be under ChiroWorks because that's the clinic, or Google, look for me on Google, or Instagram as well. Yeah. But if you want to get good content, then most of the time, sort of our Facebook, our Instagram, they are linked. So there's good content out there. There's some on YouTube that I've been pretty slack with, to be honest. And then also on TikTok, which is where Vans first, we first connected.
Yep, that's right. That's where we connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor, for spending almost, like I mentioned, now it's 1 hour, 3 minutes. And hope you have a very good day ahead and a week itself. We definitely get a Kopi. Kopi is a very Singaporean style of saying coffee, right? I know you study in Australia.
I know that. Yeah. I've been Kopi for a little while. Yeah.
So it's Kopi with Vans. All right, let's do that when your schedule allows.
I'll really have a copy with Vans. Yeah.
Let's do that. All right. Any takeaway, Doc, for our viewers? Anything that you wanted to tell them?
Any takeaway? Yeah. Definitely. Look, right now, because we're in a box here, okay, online here. If you do have any headaches, if you don't have any neck pain, if you do have any shoulder aches or anything like that, can you just please play along with me? Wave to me with your left hand, please. Yeah, wave to me. Grab your left hand. You're going to put it behind your back, okay? And you're going to use your right hand to grab hold of it and kind of pull it across like this, yeah? Okay, so if you did it correctly, like Vans there, perfect. You're going to have a little chicken wing. Vans, can you turn around and just show us your chicken wing right here? Can you show us that? Yeah, perfect, right, good. So you're going to keep your chicken wing there. And then what you're going to do, because most people do like chicken wings, not everyone, and that's okay. I want you to tilt your head towards the chicken wing. Yeah, I went the wrong way.
All right.
Towards the chicken wing. That's it. Perfect. And if you tilt your head towards the chicken wing veins, can you feel that there's a really nice stretch on the side of your neck from your ear down across to the top of the shoulder?
Amazing.
You got that?
Yeah.
Perfect. So just stay there and take a couple of breaths. Yeah. And then if you just gently look up, lift your chin up a little, look up a little. Can you feel that stretch sort of comes more towards the front a little? Yeah, hit that muscle there too, please. Yeah, take a couple of breaths there. Yeah. And then after that, when you've taken a couple of breaths, I want you to just gently drop your chin down towards your throat. Yeah. So you're going to look down a little bit and just find the angle that you need that pulls the stretch that you need. Yeah. So this is a customizable stretch. Find the part that works for you and just hang out there and breathe right there. Right? And then when you release that and shake it all out and you move your neck, I'm sure you're going to feel, I feel it. There's a huge difference on the tension on this side of my neck compared to this side here. Right? And then don't forget to do the other side now too when we get off this call here. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Garito, for your lovely presentation and a great chat with me at Kopi events. We're definitely going to have that Kopi somewhere around your place. And let's stay connected. Thank you, Doctor.
All right. Perfect. Thanks, man. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for tuning in too.
Thank you. Bye. All right. So that was Dr. Garito, the chiropractor, spending almost about 1 hour and 6 minutes. Yeah, 1 hour, 6 minutes. Even though he had a very tight schedule, I really appreciate him joining me at Kopi events because I know what exactly has happened 20 minutes prior to he coming on live, right? He was doing a couple of things, right? He's like the multi-skilled man, right? I got to say, because he was taking care of the kids, he was talking to someone at the back, and he was setting up the camera, and he was like jumping just straight from his clinic, right? Probably he's not even taken a rest, and he has a full schedule ahead. So thank you, Dr. Garito. I really appreciate you having you at Kopi events, and definitely we're going to catch that Kopi that's coming up really soon, and also to understand more about what is chiropractic for us, right? For all of us, right? We're constantly having muscle pain. We are constantly having pains in our lower back because we're carrying our luggage because we started to go for holidays, especially with the post-pandemic, right? Now everybody's traveling. So when you're carrying the luggage, it's going to be careful, right? Don't bend down and then pull, and then you get muscle pull. Or worse still, what Dr. Gary was just going to mention, right? When you go to the gym and you carry heavy without a proper posture, you might have a slip disc or a sciatic nerve. So many things can happen. And I think the problem is not really a problem. I think the most of the time, the case or the scenario that we face is we do not know what to do. But the body is communicating with us all the time, right? The body is communicating with us all the time. But it's just that we are not listening actively to our body and, to give interventions and remedies. We don't do that. But what we do is we self-diagnose ourselves, right? We think that we are the doctors and we think we are the experts, But unfortunately, if you do yourself diagnose and you feel that the pain is not going away and it seems like staying with you like a relative, not relative, something like your spouse, staying with you, but that's a good stuff, and then it's giving you a lot of pain and slowly migrating to migraine, and probably that tingling sensation, the pins and needles, like what Dr. Garito has mentioned to us, right? It can be so much of things that's happening to our life because we're standing longer, for transportation, and we are not doing all the physical activities most of the time. Or at least, in a week, we don't even do that. And we are walking lesser because of comfort zone we are in, escalators, lifts, elevators, bus, MRT cars and all that. And then if you notice that we are not even doing that 10,000 steps that Health Promotion Board has mentioned, right? We have to walk. Now they have increased to, 12, 13. Probably we need to increase, all right? So I always advocate that, walking is always good. If you are dropping, if your bus stop is there, maybe you drop 2 bus stops back, earlier, then you walk. Makes sense. But, you perspire. But that's good, right? You done your 2,000 steps, for the day, you extra, give a pat on your shoulder. So I think that's good. So all remedies and interventions are within us, but it's just that we don't find the solutions because we always want something that's easy, something that is fast and effective, and everything is now. So that's a problem, right? That's a problem, right? Becoming too comfortable is also a problem. So today's topic is all about finding relief and effective strategies for managing pain. So if there's a pain there, constantly and very persist. He doesn't want to give up, and you don't want to give up, and see who is winning. Each of them are fighting each other. Then probably it's time for you to go to the next level, right? Not just finishing up with massages. And I know so many of my clients and friends and families and relatives, they're constantly going for massage, right? If you go for massage, once in a while just to release your tension, that's fine. But if you're going there to relieve your pain and the pain is not going off and sticking with you, then yes, like what Dr. Gary Toe has mentioned, it's time to see a chiropractor. And Dr. Gary Toe is 16 years of over experiences and one of our guest speaker at Kopi events. You can look him up. You can also Google him up and make a visit to him and find out how this pain can be managed or reduce or eliminate. All right. The word is reduce, eliminate, or prevention. Also, you can use that, right? So this is your events, Kopi events, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. We have different guest speakers who are joining us every week. And please listen to that in the Apple and podcast. They're easy, right? So you don't really need to watch your phone for the video. Just put on your earpods, earpiece, or whatever that you want to put, and listen to all the podcasts, all right? There's more than 100 over episodes since past 3 years, and all of them are experts and professionals and professors and doctors and great speakers like Dr. Gary Toe, chiropractor, who's just joined us and spending almost 1 hour with me at Kopi events and for you all the informations. All right, so I'm going to catch you again 9 p.m. next Wednesday with a different topic. In fact, it's an interesting topic because that's what I'm always saying. Interesting. Every week is an interesting topic. So if you do have a topic that you want me to cover, ping me, buzz me, send a message, and I will see what's possible. All right, so this is your Vance. I'm going to sign off. Have a warm coffee, but if you can't sleep, prevent that. It's not good. All right, for me, it's like a dopamine. I need that to sleep. So catch you 9 p.m. Wednesday next week. Stay tuned. Till then, Vance, Kopi with Vance. Adios, amigos.